Hello and welcome to Pitch BrandTalk, where insights meet innovation in the world of brands. I am Ritika Raj, and today in conversation with me, I have Mr. Puneet Gupta, Senior Executive Vice President and Business Head for Digital Business and Marketing at Nuvama Wealth. Hello, Mr. Gupta. I'm so happy to have you here.
Yeah, very good afternoon. Thank you very much, Ritika, for having me on uh, for this interview. I'm really honored.
Likewise. And Mr. Gupta, we were just talking about, how this sector is about to grow more and more. And while the sector is growing, there is also a rise of AI and automation. So how is Nuvama Well sort of leveraging these technologies to enhance, its marketing strategies and also sort of streamline customer engagement?
Uh, so we have to understand, financial services in financial services landscape. Okay, wealth management is very complex. Okay, what does AI and ML help you is basically uh, resolve that complexity and make it simple for the customers. So I'll give a very brief analogy about it. Ritika, you and I are two different human beings. Our risk appetite is different. Our financial goals are different. Even if we are working in the same place, even if we have a similar income, our wealth needs are very separate. Okay.
Hmm.
Now, what happens? I can, and that's our promise at Nuvama also. We try to give a very deep customization to our customer on their portfolio. Now, if I
Right.
want to achieve this, and if I have around 1,500 people right now who are the RMs, who are on the field, on street, who basically go and meet these customers and advise them on their portfolio. If I want to bring that standardization, I cannot do it. It's humanly impossible that all 1,500 people meeting different type of customers give a
Hmm.
solution which is within the framework of what we want to provide them at Nuvama Wealth. So that's
Right.
where AI helps us. So it's not only about marketing, but I think it has touched our life in such a way that it impacts everything which we touch, whether it's a customer experience, whether the solution to a customer, whether it is engagement with the customer, where today AI is being used.
Right. Right. That's actually very interesting. But also, Mr. Gupta, I would like to understand while it is a multifold aspect where you're using AI and automation. I would like to touch upon marketing a little bit and how you can talk about some of the campaigns that you've particularly done recently and how you've integrated it into those campaigns.
Uh, so, as I said, it is so AI has become such a great, deep fabric which runs in the organization. When we look at AI, we do not compartmentalize it only for engagement or for marketing because it runs
Right.
across the
Right.
organization, right? So, right from so I'll give you an example which also enhances the customer experience. It may not be directly how AI is. So we have something called a Nuvama tool, okay,
Mm-hmm.
where when an RM goes and meets a customer, he can do along with an AI, he can actually practice a entire sales solution or a investment solution with the AI, and he gets a score
Right.
on his pitch. Now, this may not be a campaign which is being directly run, but this enhances the
Mm-hmm.
customer experience. So if I am an RM, I have to come and meet Ritika, and I know that about your portfolio. I can do a practice with AI tool internally before meeting Ritika, and I can be scored on that, and I know how fairly I did. And then if I need to sharpen my page, my solution, I can be more prepared, and then I meet Ritika. So I'm saying it is not directly the campaign which helps, but this is something which
Right.
we have built, and this is what we are doing with the help of AI. So that's how we are trying to enhance the experience at every level. That's why I said it has become such a big DNA in our organization that we don't compartmentalize it separately, but that's how it works. Number one. Now, if I have to
Right.
specifically talk about campaigns, okay, AI, what and how does it help? See, in financial services, data is core. Am I right?
Yeah.
Now, AI helps us to divide the cohorts. Now,
Hmm.
you have people, as I said, you and I with a similar income may have very different wealth needs or solutions. Now,
Yeah.
AI helps you build your solution, your portfolio, and if I have to run a campaign, I can devise a cohort. Now, I can devise
Right.
the AI helps you to divide the cohorts based on the personas, and then you can say, okay, these are the cluster of customers or cohort of customers who specifically falls into this bracket with this persona, and accordingly
Right.
run the engagement and campaigns on that. So
Right.
that's how AI helps, which in yesteryears it was so difficult. We used to do it on Excel sheet. Some human beings used to do with a lot of
Yeah.
errors and at not this scale, which we are
Right.
able to achieve through AI. So AI
Right.
helps us run a very specific, sharp campaigns on very sharp cohorts. It helps us to talk to our customers in a very personalized manner. Which so depending on your investing behavior, depending on your portfolio, which insights we never had before the introduction
Hmm.
of AI.
Right. Right. Interesting. So cohorts, looking at cohorts is easier with AI is what you're trying
Yeah,
to tell
because
me.
it actually as I said, so there can be millions of cohorts when we
Yeah.
want to give a bespoke solution. Now
Yeah.
AI helps you to divide your customers into separate target audience, and then I can talk to them, and it further, as you have chat GTPs of the world today, it helps you to go beyond and to have a very personalized conversation with the customer.
Absolutely, absolutely. But we've also seen some very interesting campaigns from Nuvama Wealth. Be it for the Women's Day, there was a campaign. So, if you would like to talk about, what drives your campaigns, what is the core insight that you're looking at when you are devising a campaign, and what is the creative thought there?
So, Ritika, when we devise campaigns, okay, so first of all, I'm very proud about this. We don't have any agency for social media or digital marketing. We have an in-house
Right,
team which does it all. Okay,
right.
it's not that we are averse to having agencies. The only
Mm-hmm.
reason that why we think that we understand our business well, and we
Right.
understand digital marketing as well as the entire social media space.
Social
So
media.
we think
Right.
we can marry it better, because if you
Okay.
have an external agency, you really need to basically give them a brief, and then there's a lot of iteration which happens. So that's why
Yeah.
that's happened. So in V Bazaar, the whole objective was to so I'll take a step back. So V Bazaar
Hmm.
is an initiative which we have done. This was our first edition, first season, and it is part of Blue Bindi, which we are running for 5 years. So Blue Bindi, as a project or as a campaign, we are running to empower women in India for financial
Hmm.
literacy and to manage their wealth. So
Right.
so globally, wealth decisions are dominated by the males. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
we just want to break that cliche, and we want that women, and there are a lot of independent women today in India. We
Hmm.
want them to be financially literate and start taking their own financial decisions and create and
Right.
preserve wealth for them. So that's the whole
Right.
objective of Blue Bindi as a program. As a part of that, we created a V Bazaar, that is
Hmm.
so women empowerment. So we means women
Okay.
empowerment. Okay. So we wanted women empowerment bazaar, where we actually invited women to participate, who have
Yeah.
been their first time entrepreneurs, and
Hmm.
share their story with us. Okay. And we
Right.
got more than 100 plus entries, and we chose 11 of them. And we have actually, on a Women's Day, we had an exhibition about their products. They shared their stories with the people, and it was not purely an exhibition, but there's a program which we have derived. Now, out of those 100 plus entries, we had 11 people who came and did an exhibition about their products. They shared their story, their pitch with us. And out of that, we have three winners, where we at Nuvama Wealth,
Hmm.
we have an executive committee of 7 8 people who are senior enough, who have been industry veterans, who are running this business, are
Right.
basically now mentoring these women to how to scale up their business and take it to the next level. So the
Interesting.
entire bedrock was to empower women, and to ensure that looking at their story, invest time and knowledge in building their business and take it to the next level. And if we can make it bigger and help them scale it, then I think
Right.
we have achieved what we have set for ourselves.
Right. Right. So first of all, congratulations for doing all your digital marketing and social marketing, social media marketing efforts in house, because I'm sure it takes a team and a good lot of effort to do that.
Correct.
So
Thank you.
congratulations there. But I also sort of want to understand. especially in the financial sector in the recent times, influencer marketing has also taken a big growth, and it's seeing a big growth, and a lot of influencers are being pitched in by various brands in the BFSI sector. So how do you at Nuvama Wealth look at influencer marketing, one, and is this also done in-house? And yeah, and what is your approach when you try to zero down on an influencer to connect with the audience, especially in this sector?
Rita, as you know, BFSI, specifically wealth management, okay, is very, very highly regulated
Yeah,
industry, okay, category. Here, using influencer celebrity is quite, tricky, and it can
yeah,
actually be pose a lot of challenges for someone to use a celebrity or an
yeah,
influencer. So largely, as I said in my previous thing, we are in-house agency which basically does everything, in-house department where we do
yeah.
everything in-house. We use influencer very selectively, okay,
Hmm.
where we only associate with influencers or finance, whatever we call finance plus, okay, for literacy. So one of the objectives, we want to be the thought leaders, okay, of the industry. We want to basically educate people about, uh, as I said, wealth management is a little complex. We want to simplify wealth management for the people, for
Yeah.
affluent people and above. We want to make it jargon free for people to understand how does it happen.
Hmm.
So I give this analogy, okay, if we want and we go to buy a simple bulb in the market, we just ask what is the life, which brand is it, how
Hmm.
many watts it is. But when
Yeah.
it comes to investment, I don't think people have that sort of an understanding. Many people
Hmm.
just invest because their friends, family, somebody has invested somewhere without
Hmm.
understanding what is their goal, what is their risk, and all that. So
Yeah.
I think one of the things which we as a company are very, very focused on is to spread the financial literacy. We want
Right.
people to get educated on
Yeah.
how to make an investment, where to make an investment, why to make an investment. And that's the philosophy which we follow when we do the meetings with our customers as well. At the
Hmm.
same time, try to use the influencers who are basically spreading the knowledge and not basically recommending either returns or products, because that is something which is not either allowed by SEBI, nor
Right.
actually, without understanding the customer profile, we as an organization also don't want to promote the products like that.
Yeah.
So we generally do partnerships or alliances with influencers who are spreading the financial literacy. So that's what is
Literacy.
our approach.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a question on that.
Yeah.
Particularly, wealth management is often viewed as quote unquote complex. So, how does Nuvama Wealth look at that and simplifying its messaging? So, I'm sure influencer marketing with with influencers who spread awareness and literacy is one. What other aspects do you also look at?
See, I tell you, there are, I think, though it is complex, okay, one of our jobs is to make it simplified. Okay.
Right.
They are not, if you ask me, it's not as complex as we all think about it because we have never dwelled into it. That's why we think it's complex.
Yeah.
Okay. So, first is you should have a proper understanding about yourself.
Hmm.
What are your goals and what is the risk which you are willing to take. So,
Yeah.
the first step is the most difficult step where, as a consumer, as a customer, I should be
Yeah.
aware and be self-aware about myself. The second
Yeah.
is I should have a proper knowledge about the products. Okay.
Hmm.
And then match it with my own goal and risk profile.
Yeah.
Third, okay, is sometimes, okay, because some things, most of the time in financial services,
Hmm.
a lot of times we take decisions based on the past performance, past history,
Hmm.
because
Yeah.
because future is unknown, right?
Yeah.
So what you do, we create a lot of tools for you, gamification,
Hmm.
interactive communication,
Yeah.
wherein customer, if he's self-aware about his own risk, and even if he's not, we ensure that we take him to a place where he actually do an interaction either through technology, AI, or with an RM, and he is self-aware about his own goals and risks. He's
Right.
aware about his portfolio. He shares that with us. Then again, using AI platforms, we try to find the best solution for the customer. And Then we have interactive tools again, either technology or a human, where a customer
Mhm.
interacts and tries to play with it. So if something you have, like you have chosen a specific asset class or a product to invest, you can look at a back testing, how much return it would have generated. And
Yeah.
so I'll give you a very simple example. A lot of people do say SIP in a mutual fund and all that today, am I right?
Yeah.
Now, I can tell you that uh, you have got an IRR of say 11% having invested in this mutual fund SIP for so many years.
Hmm. Hmm.
If you would have not invested in this, but in some other product, you may have got 13%. So that is, there are some tools to do it, which are AI driven. There are a lot of
Right.
platforms which you have created. So a lot of interaction happens about that. And then once a person actually gets a flavor of what, his own awareness, then knowledge about the product, then he has back tested it. And then if he engages either digitally or through an RM, and that's how we basically uh, provide a complete comprehensive solution to the customer, and then he can do the transaction either self or using our network of partners and RMs.
Right, right. That's actually quite informative. Also, Mr. Gupta, there's this. I think across industries, we are seeing that millennials and Gen Z are shaping market dynamics. So, how is Nuvama Wealth adapting its messaging or campaigns to sort of align with the preferences or values of this demographic? Because one size fits all doesn't work with this cohort, I believe. So, how do you look at it primarily?
So what we have done now, Ritika, we have actually created a platform, okay, which is one platform, we call it. Okay, this is a platform which can be used by the customer directly, which can be used
Hmm.
by an RM or a partner to assist you. So, example,
Yeah.
Ritika is a Gen Z or a millennial
Hmm.
who is a DIY type of a customer and wants the least interference from a
Yeah.
from a human assistant point
Yeah.
of view. Now,
Yeah.
Ritika can come to the same platform, can use all the tools, and can find out a best solution for herself and can do the transaction.
Right.
And if there's somebody who is maybe, a baby boomer or somebody who is just crossed being millennial, if he or she actually start using that everything, but he or she at that particular point wants an assistance, there is a partner or a RM available to give you an assistance. So we have
Right.
created a journey for our customers, in a way, a platform which helps a customer to, right from being aware to do entire transaction on their own.
Hmm.
And at any point of time, if they want an assistance, there is a personal assistance available either through an RM or through our partner. So that is what we
Right.
have created as a platform. So we understood this need 3-4 years back, and we started working on it. We understood that millennials and Gen Z's don't want a lot of interference, they don't want personal assistance, they
Hmm.
don't want a human interaction. So
Right.
so my son is Gen Z, so I know he prefers to do a chat rather than call me up. So
Yeah.
so 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 he can do a chat for 40 minutes, but he will not prefer to have a 10 minutes call. So I understand. So there's a change in the behavior. So
Yeah.
somebody of my age would like to basically pick up a call and then finish off a conversation in 5 minutes rather than
Yeah.
40 minutes. But that's how it is changing. So similarly, we understand this human behavior. We understand the need of privacy, using technology, do it yourself, not being disturbed or interfered by assistance. So we have created a platform which helps it. So at the same time, our communication is also designed like that. Now,
Hmm.
somebody who is Gen Z, millennial, we try to address that cohort, understanding their own psychology, do it yourself type, and then the communication
Yeah.
is also using either social media or WhatsApp or any platform where we are interacting in a very personalized way,
Hmm.
looking at the psychology of the Gen Z and millennials. But when
Yeah.
we are interacting, I'm saying in terms of communication, when we are interacting
Hmm.
with say baby boomers and the older cohorts, we are basically
Hmm.
having a very communication which is designed looking at their psychology, their age group, and there a lot of communication is not only sending them a WhatsApp or a links or a videos, but there's a human interface also available where we talk to them. So that is how we are trying to balance it. If you ask,
Right.
is it challenging? Yes, it's a bit of challenge because
I'm
the
sure.
yeah, the understanding, the needs, the requirement are quite different. But I think that's the transition which globally is happening, and I think we are trying to adapt to it.
I'm sure it must be challenging, considering there is a different demographic, a different every consumer is different, like you said. So it's a mammoth task that you've taken on your shoulders, and I'm sure there's a huge team at Novama that helps you do that.
Correct.
But also, we are talking how there's a global transformation, and we are, actively becoming digital led everywhere. But, financial services as a category is driven by trust. So then, in that case, in this digital world where trust is, sort of, we can say, very, very limited amongst people also, how do you think storytelling efforts play a role in establishing a brand like Nuvama Wealth as a trustworthy and relatable brand?
Uh, so so you have to forgive me. I'll give a little long answer to this. Okay. So
That's okay.
so I have seen both the worlds. Okay. I'm an old
Yeah.
school guy myself, and then became a head of digital business. Okay. And when so first question I used to ask when I took digital businesses, what's the difference between digital and automation? A lot of
Hmm.
people actually used to misunderstand automation as digital. So they are
Digital.
not the same. Automizing
Right.
a process is not being digital. So that's the
Right.
first thing. Now, second, Ritika, beyond that, if you go, okay, uh, you asked me this question that how do you build trust? Okay, so trust is basically, I tell you, in a digital world, building trust is important, and so I'm giving a paradoxical answer is easy as well because
Okay.
digitalization bring two three things. It
Hmm.
bring a lot of standardization.
Okay.
It
Yes.
can help you bring a lot of transparency.
Right.
Now, in the as I said, I'm an old school guy who have seen both the worlds. In earlier years, when you used to have, if you take an example of any good private sector bank, where there'll be around 50,
Hmm.
60,000 people who are on the front end trying to advise their customers about the solution. You
Right.
cannot standardize the solution, you cannot standardize the pitch, you
Hmm.
cannot be transparent. You are not sure, despite giving very high level of training, audits, everything, that what those 50, 60,000 people are talking to their a lakh, 2 lakh customer they are meeting every day.
Right.
What are they
Right.
promising? What are they talking in terms of charges? What are they, in terms of a solution, what are they giving? But digitalization brings a lot of transparency. It brings a lot of trust in terms of your platform is good. Then it brings a lot of, it can build a lot of trust. Okay. So I'm saying it takes time to build trust because trust can't be built overnight. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. But I think technology and digitalization actually helps build trust very fast because if you're transparent, if you're true to the customer, if as an organization, what we believe, if you're honest, you're authentic, and you're true to the customer, whatever you do, every effort basically builds and adds to the trust. So
Right.
trust is not about only, whether it is about in a digital world or a non-digital world. It's largely about your own mindset and orientation. If you really are honest to a customer, authentic to a customer, and be transparent, and if you keep the customer interest first, I think
Hmm.
over a period of time you build trust. Technology only helps you build it by being more
Okay.
transparent, by being
Right.
more standardized in your approach in solution, by being more
Right.
efficient in terms of giving a better solution, a better experience to a customer. So I think it only enhances it.
Hmm. That's one way to look at it, and I think that's pretty interesting. But also, Mr. Gupta, we were just talking about, you've mentioned it multiple times that there are a lot of challenges and regulations when it comes to marketing efforts, especially for BFSI brands. So in that case, how do you sort of ensure that your campaigns remain innovative while also staying compliant with the industry norms?
So compliance is first. We are a listed entity, and we are very particular about the framework. We just try to be on the right side, and we follow the framework to the T.
Right.
Having said that, okay, I believe that the best opportunity comes when when the things are tough and challenging. So I think it brings best out of it. Now, if you are
Right.
working in an industry where there's no challenges and all that, you can actually, copy someone's campaign. You can actually, we have seen, uh,
Mm-hmm.
BlackBerry and Apple, they used to just
Yeah, yeah,
compete, and a Coke
yeah,
and Pepsi.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I don't know whether they were using a creativity, but in a very different way. So I'm not
yeah.
trying to demean that, but it was
Mm-hmm.
like, if Apple has created an ad, BlackBerry was just
Black.
trying to
Yeah,
answer that back.
yeah.
But I think in our case, when the challenges are so high, when the regulatory framework is so, and regulatory framework, why regulatory framework is so tough? Because they want to keep the customer interest first.
Yeah.
And as an organization, our first motive is also to keep the customer interest.
Customers.
So now,
Right.
if that gets aligned, I don't feel it as a challenge or I don't feel it
Yeah.
as a limitation.
Yeah.
However, within the given framework, it brings best out of it, because then you really think, how can you be creative, how can you really stand out, and
Right.
rather than demeaning the competition, we just try to figure out how can we be an ally, a
Hmm.
friend, and can communicate to a customer that your
Hmm.
interest is the first what we are looking
Right, right. That's right. And but also, I mean, I personally love those competitive ads that keep coming from brands. Brand Wars is my favorite to look out for, and I'm sure you enjoy it as much.
for.
But
Yeah.
also, looking ahead, what are the emerging marketing trends or technologies that you believe will impact the financial services, and how is Nuvama Wealth aligned to embrace that?
See, I think but there's no difference in metros and emerging markets today in terms of usage of internet. If you look at the data, I think there are more users. Amazon has a better sales in emerging markets than in metros. So I think it's catching up very fast. I think
Right.
the way emerging market tier 2, tier 3 in India is growing is immense and massive. Okay. Uh, uh, so so I think we are trying to catch up with it. Okay, I would not say we are 100% there. However, we are cognizant of the fact that that's a big market and we need to keep
Mm-hmm.
addressing. So,
Right.
sometimes it can be your localized communication. You need to look at the language. All those things are things which we try to adapt in our campaigns, when we look at those markets. But otherwise, if you look at, as I said, though it looks a very complex business, it's very simple, and if you know it. So customer has to be self-aware. You have to give the knowledge to a customer. He should be able to play around with tools to find out which is the best product for him. He can get advice and he can do a transaction. Now, if this is what is, are the pillars on which you are working at, so they don't change between a metro and a emerging market. The only thing
Hmm.
which changes is the communication. How you communicate with them, how you basically, the aspirations are different of metro Indian and a emerging Indian, Indian residing in an emerging market. So those are the things which you need to adapt when you do a campaign. Okay, you need to
Right.
basically look at what is aspiring for a customer who is staying out in metro, what is
Hmm.
a customer who's staying in an emerging market. You need to basically adapt to the language. Okay, you need to adapt to some localized nuisances. Okay, so those are the things which you need to keep in mind. But otherwise, philosophically, the core of it remains the same. It doesn't
Right.
change too much. But I'm very bullish about it, and I think we have uh, 70 80 offices of our own, proprietary offices, and we are in more than 450 cities through our partners. So I think
Right.
as an organization, I think there's a great future in emerging markets in India.
Right. And any trends that you see that will, drive financial sector, particularly
I think
marketing wise
AI will
or customer?
disrupt in a big way. Okay, this is
Right.
what I believe strongly. Okay, not only in terms of so as a part of digital, we run a large call center also, where we reach out to the customer. As I said, if even if you are
Right.
you do it yourself customer, but if you need an assistance, we are able
Yeah.
to provide you that. I think 3 years down the line, you may be talking to a computer through an AI rather than a human warm body who will be basically
Yeah.
addressing to your queries and giving you the solution. So I think
Voice
AI is
automation.
going to disrupt big way.
Yeah.
Okay, I think the right now we have not even scratched the surface. Okay, I think the way it is going to unfold, we cannot undermine the potential of what AI can bring onto the table. So I think
Right.
all of us, if we really need to be ahead of the curve, we need to keep looking at those trends very closely and keep
Hmm.
working on upgrading ourselves and our skills on AI. So I think that's something which we cannot ignore. There's a huge potential, and I think we have just started. And not
Right.
I'm saying, when I said we have just started, I'm not talking about Nuvama. We have just started. I think as a in terms of using an AI globally, we have just started. I think there's going to be huge potential, and I think there's going to be a huge change in the way we all function once the
Right.
AI becomes unleashes its complete potential.
Right. Okay. Two quick rapid fire questions. Your key priorities as a marketer this year for your brand.
So basically, integrate AI at every. That is
Right.
my key
And
priority.
your marketing mantra that you live by.
Keep it simple.
Oh, that's pretty interesting. Thank you so much. It was a great pleasure talking to you and you understanding what you do at Nuvama Wealth. And kudos to you and your team for doing it in house and doing it very well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ritika. Pleasure was mine. Thank you very much.